What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe and lick off the bell. So, Team Deontay Wilder, by way of Malik Queen Scott, have reacted to AJ's performance versus Usyk to an extent, and have essentially reached out a hand of support. Someone posted a question to Malik OnlyFans Scott and said AJ is a bum. Malik Scott posted publicly the following: at least he's a history-making rich bum, and now you're a piece of ish that just got blocked. Now, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who think, oh, YB, you're riding AJ, but it just seems, it's really a coincidence that things are all coming together at the same time, if that makes sense, because I've felt these things for a little while. So it's not, this isn't directed just to AJ, but it's relevant to AJ. Yeah, the hat fits, in my opinion. So, where I'm going with this is, I feel in 2021, there's so many, I'm not sure what you'd call them, but there's so many defining features of this year we live in, that in my opinion, we're going in a rotten direction. No more it's about substance, and this was going on a lot of the time, to be fair. Over the last few years, yeah, I've been given, I've always said, I'm a #1 AJ fan. I want the best for him. And I've been given critiques that I believe, and I believe, not only believe, I've been given critiques, yeah, about his technique and other things, and his philosophies and cultures and whatnot, about boxing. I've been critiquing, based on sound, fundamental advice. And all I heard from all of the super duper AJ fangirls over the last 2 years, when I've been trying to help, all I've heard is, YB, he's rich, you're not rich, YB, he's got a load of belts, you ain't got no belts, YB, Rob Crappen's got a load of belts, YB this, YB that, oh, YB got loads of money, you ain't got no money. So like I was saying, in 2021, one of the key undermining or underpinning points of society is, if you make a load of money, then it don't matter what else you do. It don't matter that you told your fans you were going to get a KO and you ain't even try, and you gassed everyone up. It don't matter about principles. It don't matter about keeping your word. Oh, where's he robbed the bank? Don't matter. At least he got the bag. In my opinion, life shouldn't all be about the bag. It should be about integrity. If I say something, I'm going to do it, or at least try to do it. You know what I'm saying? What happened to integrity? Well, he got the bag, it don't matter. What happened to doing what you say you're going to do? Never mind integrity. No one didn't ask no one to say nothing. Keep your mouth shut if you're not sure. Keep your mouth shut if you're not confident. When you open your mouth and say something, you owe it, especially when you've got supporters, you owe it to them, at the bare minimum, if not yourself. You owe it to them to at least try and do what you're saying. Otherwise, be quiet. For example, and for people to come back and use that as an example, well, he made history, well, he's making money. He's making money. And this is the thing, a lot of these rich people forget. And I'm not saying AJ directly, but a lot of rich people forget how they got there. Yeah? These people who think you man didn't get rich from just because you're just because you're that great. You got rich because all the mans put money in and backed what you was doing. Don't ever forget that. I think a lot of these dudes, yeah, they forget where they come from. You hear a lot about this humble talk, but really, it's played out. Bit like, for example, in my opinion, almost being truly humble, yeah. So everyone can say, oh, I appreciate the fans and whatnot, but if you really appreciate the fans, yeah, like that, Cus D'Amato would talk about it, and it's interesting. I've mentioned this a few times. Cus D'Amato would say things like, I'm not sure exactly the quotes, but more or less along the lines of, Cus D'Amato would say something along the lines of, the fans are the absolute, they're like almost your masters. You owe everything to them. And this is, in my opinion, I agree. That's the bottom line. Call him a liar. Is he lying then? Without them, you are nothing. It's a fact. You wouldn't have millions of dollars. You wouldn't have all these brand deals. It's a fact. So everything you must do, or everything you try to do, should be trying to pay that back, if that makes sense. Not, well, Didn't really turn up, but I'm still rich. F you, kind of thing. That's just, what's that about? Now, no, this isn't AJ saying this, but even either way you look at this, either way you look at it, bottom line is, I mean, in the post-fight press conference, AJ said, people need to appreciate the work I put in. What work you put in? You went in there and I'm being funny. I didn't see you work a shift like that. I saw you rocking and rolling on the ropes. I saw you getting mollywopped by a cruiserweight. I didn't see you put a shift in, though. I didn't see you, put yourself out there and put yourself out, if that makes sense. I saw you go through the motions, and it was almost like, well, it was like your last few performances. Well, if Pulev stands in front of me and puts his chin in the air, I'll knock him out. If not, I'll just go through the motions. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sick, again, this isn't all about AJ. I'm just saying, I'm sick of this whole, it's been a narrative that's been building. I got the bag. I got the bag. I'm rich. I got the bag. I'm rich. He's making history. What history? What history is it then? What history? What, knocking Pulev out? Is that the history it is then? Is that it then? What history? Knocking Pulev out and then running around the place from Ruiz, who went on to get knocked down by Chris Arreola, who we know. It's one thing if Andy Ruiz went on to get knocked down by Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, or Dillian White. He got knocked down by Chris Arreola, washed to pieces. In my opinion, I don't care. YB, boxing triangles don't work. I don't give a F what you're saying. If Chris Arreola can put Andy Ruiz down, all that hype about his chin, all that hype about everything else is BS. And I said at the time, I said, listen, AJ's got no excuse. AJ and his team have got no excuse not to put it on this guy. Yeah? Bob Arum dropped Andy Ruiz because he had no power. He couldn't punch for toffee. Simple as that. So it all feeds back. And AJ, and it's the thing, AJ even knows this. AJ said before this fight, yeah, I know what the fans want. The fans want KOs. The fans want Kronk. I want Kronk. Where was that? Where was that? People need to appreciate my hard work. What hard work? I'm sorry. Yeah, we can all... and this is another thing as well. People like to kind of shill for their mans. They say things like, he's working... Bro, everyone working hard. Everyone working 9 to 5. I'd rather, not being funny, I've been to a relatively high level in sport, yeah? I'd tell you this for free. If I could have made my sport work, I'd take a job in sport over an office job or a standard 9 to 5 every day of the week. So that whole notion of fans need to appreciate I put work in, get serious. You know you'd rather be doing this. And by the way, the sport I was in I was never going to be a 100 millionaire. The job you're doing is for $100 million, and it's not a 9 to 5. So don't give me that. In my opinion, for that amount of money, for $50 million every fight, you should be able to work yourself up to say, you know what, people, I'm getting generational wealth every time I fight. In 2021, I feel like athletes, it's almost like it's expected. Well, yeah, I've earned that. I deserve it. Rather than saying I'm grateful. I'm grateful to fans. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. Now we hear athletes say this. We hear them speak it. I'm grateful to the fans. But actions speak louder than words. Anyone can sit there and talk, but the actions of that would be, you know what? I'm in a blessed situation. The fans have blessed me to make generational wealth every time I perform. Let me go in there and give a general wealth style performance. You understand? Let me go in there and stick it all on the line. The same way, essentially, the fans are sticking it all on the line. Putting all their monies in the pot. And I guess there'll be people who say things like, YB, no one asked you to put, or no one asked people to put money in, but it's not the point. That's what Cus D'Amato was saying. It's about, what's the word? It's about where you put things. Putting other people first, if that makes sense. In today's world, it's all about self-preservation. It's all about me, 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 me. For example, fighting. In fact, in boxing and fighting, it's a perfect example. What do I mean by it's all me, 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 me? It's kind of like, well, you know what? If I can say I'm going to get the KO and get more people to buy the pay-per-view and then go in there and take no risk, that's better for me, isn't it? I'll make more money on the pay-per-views and I don't have to put myself at risk for it. Great. Do you understand? And that's where Customato was coming from. He was trying to avoid his fighters going down that route of being selfish, essentially. Because it don't lead nowhere good. Even for the athlete, that way of thinking, before you know it, you're losing. And before you know it, you ain't on the gravy train no more. If you go in there, and a lot of these fighters, yeah, who had longevity, who were able to sell pay-per-views consistently, it's because they went in there and give it their all. And got stuck in. I mean, look at the Marquez and Pacquiao fights, for example. They was entertaining because both men wanted it badly. It wasn't a bunch of nothingness. It wasn't a bunch of two dudes just turning up and trying to go for the motions. I mean, how many fighters in 2021 do you see really turn up and leave it all out there? How many? It's rare you see fighters turn up and leave it all out there. Everyone's saving a bit. Everyone's thinking about self-preservation. Well, if I can win and not take no risk, Adrian Broner style. And I get it. You got clipped, and that's meant to be the. Do you love this game or not? That's meant to be part of the game, is it not? It's a bit like a racing driver when they crash. Well, that's part of the game. And the thing is as well, it's a lot more dangerous driving a racing car than it is boxing. If you come off one of them corners, you're dead. Simple as that. In boxing, it's actually relatively rare that someone don't make it out. But either way, listen. We are where we are. Everyone's getting paid. At least he's making money, and that's what it matters. And I'm not saying this commenter's right. He's a bum. I'm not saying he's a bum. I'm just saying that, in general, in 2021, this mindset is wrong. It's wrong. Fans need to start coming first. And it's not even just boxing. It's in all sports, to be honest. A lot of these football teams. I don't really follow football, but a lot of them just turn up and go for the motions. Take your ticket money. I've heard that football tickets are going up exponentially. Most of the grassroots fans can't even get tickets these days because they're astronomical. It's all about milking. And then when the thing is, I've heard that a lot of these teams, Arsenal and that lot, I'm not sure exactly what's going on in the Premier League, but I've heard a lot of these teams, top level teams, charging massive tickets, and the players don't even turn up to go for the motions. Not really that bothered, not really that fussed. I'm getting paid anyway. I don't really care. It's a joke. We need to go back to the days where you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I think athletes should be on 100 grand a year. And trust me, yeah? You best believe. And that's what, for example, we know this model works. Look at the UFC. Most of them fighters would bite your hand off for 100 grand a year. Which, by the way, is much better. That's 3 times better than the average man's doing in the UK. So they wouldn't be hurting. And they get to do something they love. Oops. A lot of them UFC fighters, they give a lot more. Look at, for example, Molly McCann? I did a video on it. She had a much worse injury than Billy Ho Saunders, and she fought through. She pushed through. Why? She didn't have $8 million to sit back on. She need that check. Yeah? She need that fight of the night. She need that new contract. So yeah, I do think there's a balance. I think that UFC are a bit too stringent, but in a way I get why they're doing it. Because otherwise you get people gassed. Look at McTapper. McTapper's actually probably, or John Jones. McTapper and John Jones, the more successful dudes, they're actually a good cautionary tale of what not to do. Pay these guys too much and they lose their head. They're useless. And take the Michael out of the fans. Like McTapper does. Just roll over. Gets hit with the first shot. McTapper was invincible early in his career when he was broke. All of a sudden he gets some money and the first shot that lands, he on the floor in a big heap. Now I don't believe it myself. Your chin don't disappear. And that's, in a way, I've got to say it about AJ as well. How is it AJ's walking through fire And then he gets a load of money now. First thing that lands, he's dancing around the place, all goofy looking. What's that about? I don't get it. It's not. It can't be. It can't be genetic. It can't be physiological. It's psychological, I believe. Because guess what? When you're broke here and you're worried about securing your future, you think, I refuse to lose. I can't be knocked out. And to be honest, the best example for this of me, it's almost like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson early in his career, it's I refuse to lose. I won't lose. And when he had that mindset, shots would bounce off. Obviously, he ended up falling off the wagon, and you know what I mean? I believe there's something in that, seriously, scientifically speaking. These mans, AJ was walking through fire. When Vlad hit him, yeah, it was a great, wicked shot, massive shot, but he got straight back up. These times, every shot Ruiz hit him with, every shot Usyk hit him with, he dancing around the place, every single one. What the fuck? What's going on here? It don't make no sense. We've seen them same shots landing, and he's been walking through them all. I can't understand it, but it's almost like the mind's already, it's almost like their mind and their spirit is halfway out the door. They're thinking, my future's secured. I don't need to have that absolute dog in me. I don't need to refuse to lose. Because I'm sorted. Is this too hard for me right now? It's almost like the optionality. And I remember actually, even in my own life, like, I've been there and I've given up before, and it is, and I know it's not the same as taking a shot, but it is a choice. Bottom line, it is a choice to give up, or not put. Sorry, maybe not give up, but it is a choice not to put. We know as athletes, we know when we're going all in. We know when we've left it all out there. And I put to you, AJ, can you say on Saturday night you left it all out there? You know you ain't left it all out there. That's a fact.